All right, man. Let's talk about the Lions hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We played them twice last season. Once in the regular season, once in the postseason. Tampa Bay had a big win over the Commanders, where they look good, and Baker Mayfield got that guap, got that cash. And yeah, I watched a little bit of that game. Mike Evans was Mike Evans. I mean, only downside of that game was they lost Antoine Winfield Jr. to an injury for a couple weeks, and for the most part, nobody was really expecting the Commanders to be any good this year. Ownership changeover, so we all knew that was going to be an issue. But Jaden Daniels, he did have 184 yards, but he rushed the ball 16 times, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. They coach said that I think he was the defensive coordinator for Seattle and for the Denver. I mean, and for Seattle, I forget his name, but he said he didn't want him running as much, and that's not the plan. Uh, but for the most part, Tampa did what they do. Baker damn near was flawless, 24 for 30, 289, 4 touchdowns. They didn't really run the ball per se pretty good. This Bucky Irving guy, he ran the ball pretty well. Where they get him from? Fourth round pick out of Oregon last year. So he ran the ball pretty good. They might have something there. 9 carries, 62 yards. I know the other guy, that's their guy, you know, in the receiving game and the running game, Rashad White, he only averaged 2 yards a carry versus Tampa. But through the air, he had 6 catches, 75 yards. I mean, Godwin, he looked pretty good. 8 catches, 83 yards, 1 touchdown. Mike Evans had 2 touchdowns, 5 catches, 61 yards. I mean, defensively, they don't have Devin Smith anymore. He with Philly. He was injured for their last game, and they going through a transition. Obviously, they traded us Carlton Davis. Um, they still got Jamil Dean out there, still got Vita Vea, but the team kind of going through a transition right now. So, um, you know, uh, but they're a good football team. Anytime you beat anybody in the National Football League by 17 points, that's always interesting. And I think out of the 1 p.m. games this week, this is the game to watch. This or the New Orleans and Dallas game because once again Derek Carr low key been hot like fish grease since the end of last season, so he kind of been in some type of groove. So it's pretty much the game to watch next week. I mean, people gonna turn to the Jets and the Titans. Um, like I said, New Orleans and Dallas, and really in the 1 o'clock window, that's really about it. Especially with in air, excuse me, especially with Jordan Love being out and that close game, it's not as lucrative. And obviously the Lions are at the crib. All right, you want a rib at the crib? They at the crib, and uh their touchdown favorite, which I think is pretty wide. You customarily get 3 points at the crib, and they opened up as a 6.5 favor, so that's pretty wide. Over and under 51 points. I don't think they came close to matching the over last week. I think the over was at 51. They had the highest over and under, and the Lions they didn't come close to that. I think. Well, they was at 46, so almost. The indicator got them 65.3% chance of beating the Bucs. Baker had a big week. Not so much for Jared Goff. Chris Godwin had a good week. Montgomery had a good week, and you know, right now for them, Bryce Hall, corner, is on injured. Razard Kalinski, Kansas, he's questionable. A big part of their defense. Logan Hall, questionable defensive end. Antoine Winfield Jr., safety, doubtful. Josh Hayes, questionable. And then you look at the Lions right now, F.A. Melifanu, DJ Reader, safety, defensive tackle, Lawrence Strickland, safety, all questionable as of estimated return date September 15th. So I don't know if they got it's too early for team stats. I guess it would be. So yeah, when I look at this game, man, to be honest, they feel familiar. Last time Mike Evans literally put on a show on us, and on Cam Sutton, he straight dominated him. So I look forward if with Carlton Davis being out there and being familiar with the Bucs and Bucs being familiar with him, how they're going to operate. How they going to operate with Carlton Davis out there? Honestly, is he going to check Mike Evans? Can he guard Mike Evans? I mean, that's gonna be number one thing I watch is how the Bucs attack Carlton Davis and how Carlton Davis guards Mike Evans. You know what I'm saying? If Terrion Arnold, he go to Terrion Arnold side. What a way to start your career off, with Godwin, Mike Evans, and Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua a little bit last week. Um, so yeah, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's definitely gonna be crazy. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm pretty much looking out for is how, um, it's how the Bucks really going to attack, Carlton Davis, and will they attack Carlton Davis? Will they throw away from him? Because they was happy to let him go. They was real happy to let him go. They was absolutely happy to let him go. Um, so I mean, we'll mess around and have to see, man. But yeah, from that standpoint, then also when you start looking at it from Tampa, you want to run the ball, you want to get that Bucky guy, you probably want to get the ball in his hand, and Rashad White and get him the ball, running the ball and catching the ball. That's going to be imperative for them. Um, So, yeah, and then you probably want to play action to get the ball to your playmakers. Chris Godwin is your intermediate over the middle slot receiver. And you're going to probably be looking to test that newly, put together line secondary with shots downfield to Mike Evans. So, and defensively for them, stop the Lions run game and do what everybody else been doing and stop St. Brown from going over the middle of Laporta and force Jameson Williams to beat you in the last, regular season game. Jameson Williams did beat you deep. You know what I'm saying? So, they're gonna blitz a lot in Tampa. So for the Lions is be prepared to pick up that blitz. For them, and you can run right into the blitz, and if you run right past the blitz, it's usually a big play. So it'll be interesting to running into the blitz, picking up the blitz, and Ty Bowles gonna blitz, and that's throwing screen plays, getting it out hot, and that's what's gonna come into play. If they blitz, then the Lions probably gonna find St. Brown over the middle. It's probably gonna be a huge bounce back game for St. Brown and Sam Laporta. It's gonna be some opportunities out there for Khalif Raymond and for Jameson Williams to make some plays downfield. And you gotta ask yourself, Khalif Raymond gave you absolutely nothing last week. So are we at the point where it's time to put Isaiah Williams in? Are we at the point where it's time to activate Robinson? Or is it time to activate Tim Patrick or Allen Robinson or one of those guys? Are we at that point where we ready to activate one of those guys, man? So quite frankly, that should be fairly interesting to see the decision that they make right there as far as receiver, because that's one thing that nobody's actually talking about is that we got zero from Khalif Raymond on Sunday from a receiver's position. So that's one thing that I'm really looking out for, see what they can get from Khalif Raymond as a pass catcher. Okay. So I'm looking at that. What can they get from him as a pass catcher on Sunday? Um, and obviously they got to run the ball. It's hard to run against Kalishi Tansey and Vita Vea, but they got to run the football. They're gonna blitz a lot, so slow down that blitz, run the football, the screen game, and then possibly even the play action game. But um, I want to see St. Brown bounce back. I want to see production from the other receiver, not named Jameson Williams and not named St. Brown. So if that's Isaiah Williams, if that's Khalif Raymond, I want to see what they can do. And I kind of continue wanting to see Jameer Gibbs in the passing game, 34, receiving yards last week. I think I pointed out that I felt like he wasn't 100%. We all know he wasn't 100%. So hopefully trends continues to trend towards that. But I think you're gonna see a lot of David Montgomery defensively. Want to see how they're gonna hold up versus Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, one of the best duos in there. They'll move him around in the slot. They'll move Mike on the outside, and all that stuff. You gotta watch Rashad White out the backfield as well too. So they run defense will be tested. Will DJ Reader be there this week? We don't know. We need him in there, but we want to see how they get the pressure on Baker. Um, but it's a good matchup. It's a matchup that's winnable for both teams. I don't really see a 7-game spread like that. So I and I do betting advice Also, I think the Bucs will cover that 7, in my opinion. But I think that the Lions got a great chance of winning this game. They both familiar with each other, and I think that if they can continue to create the pressure that they had versus the Rams, I think they'll take down Baker Mayfield faster than they took down Matthew Stafford. So if they get pressure on Baker Mayfield this game, then I think the pass rush is going to improve. Don't know if they should read her out another week, but I think they'll win about 4 points. I think it'll be a 4 or 5 point victory, but Tampa's look confident. They look pretty good. They know this Lions defense a lot. I know Antoine Winfield Jr. not playing. That's a blow. But to be honest, Ford Field gonna be rocking home field advantage. I think hopefully the offense will wake up and knock a little bit of that rust off. But if they don't upset alert. If that offense don't find a way to get the ball to their playmakers' hands and they have struggled again to get it to St. Brown hand, get it to Laporta hands, they're probably gonna lose this game unless somebody else step up. If it's Khalif, if it's Isaiah Williams, if it's somebody else, they got to find a way to get other playmakers. But I think this game gonna be a 24-28 type of game. um, the third quarter, a lot of people pointed out again, is the Lions' Achilles heel. They still haven't fixed that. So they got to figure out what are they not doing in the third quarter offensively to keep the ball rolling. And if that's coming out running the ball 20 straight times and playing keep away, then that's got to be the remedy like Hennessy for them to win. So I like the Lions 28-24, but I like the Bucs to cover that 7. And what was the point spread on that? Or the over and under? The over and under was 51 and a half. I think they'd be under 51 and well, hold on, I say 24-28. But they'd be over that. So I got the over. Right? 48. Yeah, they'd be slightly. I think I was 52. So yeah, I think they'd be slightly over the over. I think they got the Bucs to cover 7. The money line is 340 for the Lions, so you got to bet 340 to win 100. And for Tampa Bay, it's plus 270. So yeah, I like the Lions by 4, 28-24, and a good exciting game. But don't sleep on the Bucs. So check out the Lions prediction playlist. Hit the link tree. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Spotify, Anchor, the whole nine. She got Detroit Lions talk playlist. She got the Lions prediction playlist. Appreciate the love, support. Peace.